Synopsis. Warning: this synopsis may contain spoilers. This film is told through 3 different points in the protagonist's life. Part 1. Little. In Miami, a drug dealer named Juan Mahershala Ali meets with one of his boys near the dope holes in town. A junkie is desperately trying to buy something off the other man, but he is continuously rejected. Juan goes by a hole in which a young boy, Alex Hibbert, has been chased into by a group of bullies. The bullies throw rocks at the window before leaving. Juan pulls off a wooden board from the window and finds the boy hiding. He takes the boy out to get food and asks him his name, but the boy never responds. Juan brings him to the home of his girlfriend Teresa, Janelle Money, where the boy finally says his name is Kyron, but the other kids call him Little. The next day, Juan brings Kyron back to his home. His mother Paula, Naomi Harris, brings Kyron inside and keeps him away from Juan as he tries to say his farewell. A group of schoolboys play on a field near the railroad tracks. Kyron leaves the group and is followed by his only friend Kevin, Yaden Piner. Kevin tells Kyron that he needs to show the other boys that he's not soft so they will stop picking on him. They play fight before running off home. After class, the boys are in a room showing each other their penises. Kyron enters the room after Kevin lets him in. He unzips his pants and shows himself to Kevin and the other boys. Juan takes Kyron to the beach to teach him how to swim. They sit on the sand as Juan tells Kyron about his own childhood, telling the boy how he must carve out his own path in this world and not let anyone else decide for him. At night, Juan sees someone smoking crack in the streets. He discovers that Paula is with the man, being her boyfriend. Juan chastises Paula for smoking crack, but she hits back that he's the one that sold it to her. They argue about how Kyron is being raised, with Paula asking Juan if he is trying to raise her son and if he knows why the other boys pick on him. She later goes home and angrily calls Kyron a faggot. In the morning, Kyron goes to Juan and Teresa's house. He expresses his hatred for Paula and then asks Juan what a faggot is. After Juan explains, Kyron asks if he himself is one. He then asks Juan about his drug dealing and selling to his mother. Kyron leaves, and Juan appears tearfully remorseful. Part 2. Kyron. Kyron is now a teenager, now played by Ashton Sanders. Juan has long since passed away. Kyron is harassed at school by a punk named Terrell, Patrick Desile, who mocks Kyron in the middle of class until their teacher kicks Terrell out. After class, Kevin, now played by Gerald Jerome, goes up to Kyron to brag about receiving a blowjob from a girl on the staircase and how he got detention for doing so. He also gives Kyron the nickname Black. Kyron continues to visit Teresa for food, a place to crash some nights, and sometimes some money. When Kyron goes back toward his home, a very high Paula comes out and starts demanding money from Kyron so she may get more drugs for herself. She tries to forcibly takes money from his pockets until he relents and hands it over to her. As Kyron walks home from school, Terrell and his buddy run up on Kyron and taunt him about his mother and Teresa. When Kyron responds angrily, the two threaten him and make him take a step back. Kyron visits the beach and sits on the sand. He is joined moments later by Kevin, who shares a blunt with him. They talk to each other about their goals, and eventually get close enough to start kissing. Kevin then gives Kyron a hand job. At school, Kyron tries to sit with Kevin at lunch before Terrell sits with him. They have a pleasant chat as Terrell recalls an old game called Knock Down, Stay Down, which Kevin was apparently good at. Terrell tries to find someone for Kevin to knock down. He picks Kyron and pressures Kevin into hitting him. Kevin reluctantly strikes Kyron a few times in the face and tells him to stay down. Kyron continues to get up, leading to Terrell and his friends to start stomping him out. Later, Kyron sees a social worker who urges him to give up the names of his attackers. He feels that nothing will be stopped if he says names. The next day, Kyron walks into class and immediately grabs a chair and smashes it over Terrell's back, knocking him to the ground. Kyron tries to get more hits in, but he is held back by the teacher and other students. He is later arrested, and Kevin sees him being taken away in the police car. Part 3, Black. The story jumps about 10 years later. Kyron, now played by Trevin Rhodes, is living in Atlanta after a stint in juvie, and is now pushing drugs. He lives alone in a small house and is significantly more bulked up than in his youth. One night, Kyron receives an unexpected phone call from Kevin, now played by Andre Holland, who got Kyron's number from Teresa. Kevin apologizes for what happened in school and for what he did to Kyron. Kyron is silent but he sheds a tear. Kevin says he is now a cook in Miami and he invites Kyron to visit him for a meal. On his way through Florida, Kyron stops to visit his mother. Paula is deeply upset with how she treated Kyron as a child and for letting her addiction take over. She tells Kyron she loves him and knows he doesn't have to love her back. Kyron forgives Paula. Kyron arrives at Kevin's diner. Kevin is surprised to see Kyron seated at the front. He cooks a chef's special for Kyron, which is a Cuban dish. Kevin brings some wine over for them to drink. Kyron is still fairly quiet, but the two eventually engage in conversation. Kevin has married a woman named Samantha and they have a son, Kevin Jr. Kyron admits that he is selling drugs, to Kevin's displeasure. Kyron claims it is what it is, but Kevin disagrees. Kevin brings Kyron to his apartment for the night. There, Kevin admits that he's not where he thought he would have been in life, but he is happy with his job and family. Kyron states that he hasn't been touched by anyone since Kevin back in high school. Kyron and Kevin then sit on the bed with Kyron resting his head on Kevin's shoulder, and Kevin starts stroking Kyron's head. The film ends with a shot of Kyron as a child standing on the beach. The end of Moonlight. Synopsis.